does Kamala Harris stand for? What are her policies? Well, as we've talked about a bunch of people are talking about this right now. I don't know. You don't know because she's not running on anything. They're calling it a campaign of joy. They called her a brat, but there are no real concrete policies. And people are finally starting to notice. A lot of people are starting to notice. Reporters are starting to even ask questions of random Democrats. What are her policies? What are her policies? Well, before I read this quote from an Anne McLean Custer, whatever her stupid name is, you remember Mao's Cultural Revolution? We've talked about it many times. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this, but you know the main rallying cry of Mao's Cultural Revolution? He got all these young people, high school, college kids, to go murder a bunch of people, millions of people in China, professors, his political opponents, Buddhist monks, you name it, murder, slaughter, just standard communism. What did they do that in the name of? Well, Mao said they needed to get rid of the four olds. That's what they were trying to do. Get rid of these four olds. What are the four olds? Old ideas, old culture, old customs, and old habits. That's what they were out there murdering for. But what's that mean? What's an old habit? What's an old culture? What is that? What's the difference? Well, whatever Mao wanted it to mean. The vagueness is the point. You can rally people to do things like murder on your behalf with ideas that are totally vague. You leave the ideas vague so no one can attack your points, and so you can decide whatever specifics along the way, whatever happens to suit you. This Congresswoman, Anne McLean Custer, was asked by Politico about the fact that Dome doesn't even have any policies, and this is what she said. This is a direct quote. Quote, she doesn't need to negotiate against herself. We've got the biggest possible tent right now. You see, they're being pretty open about it. Why come out with a single public policy? The media will carry water for you. They've got all these people in there. If they give out any specifics, the public might find out these people are a bunch of communist demons. After all, in the very few times Dome is asked about things, well, here's how it goes.
You unveiled some economic policies last week.
Yeah.
Can you explain how you're going to pay for those? And can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil going forward?
Sure. Well, I mean, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. It's at $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it in the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by over 50%. So that's a lot of the work. And then what we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home ownership in America, what that means in terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools, again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening communities, and in particular the economy of those communities, and investing in a broad-based economy, everybody benefits.
What? What'd she say? Nothing. Of course, that's the point. Harkens back to Nancy Pelosi telling everybody that we need to pass the bill to find out what's in it. They're vague because they're communists. They're vague because the specifics are horrific. Keep that in mind. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.